All right, let's get right into it. The British F4 season has just kicked off, and wow, the opener at Donington Park was absolutely electric. Now, this is Formula 4, right? It's that first massive step for young drivers climbing out of karts and onto that ladder that hopefully leads to Formula 1. It's all about raw ambition, brand new tires, and this incredible energy you only get when you're watching the future of motorsport figure it all out right in front of your eyes. And just how big is that future? Well, it all starts with this number right here. 31. That's a record-breaking 31 cars lined up on the grid for the season opener. I mean, can you even imagine the noise, the controlled chaos, the sheer spectacle of it all? This isn't just another race weekend. It's a huge statement for what this season is going to be. And this quote, it just nails it. It gets right to the heart of why this series is so unbelievably exciting. You see, the drivers you're watching battle it out in this massive grid, they aren't just kids in fast cars. They are the potential world champions of tomorrow. And this is where they learn their craft, under some seriously intense pressure. So let's talk a little more about that record-breaking start. The atmosphere at Donington was just buzzing. You could literally feel the ambition in the paddock. There was this real sense that this season was going to be something special, and you could feel it from the very first lap. Okay, but with a jam-packed field of 31 cars, who are we supposed to keep an eye on? Well, coming into the weekend, there were two names that were on everybody's lips. So let's meet these future stars who are already stealing the spotlight. First up, you've got the 15-year-old sensation, Kit Bolofsky. He showed up to Donington with a reputation that was already massive, and honestly, an incredible amount of hype following him around. And here's why everyone's so fascinated by him. It's not just that he's the brand new Saudi Arabian F4 champion, and it's not just that he's driving for the legendary Fortec Motorsport team. No, he's also become a bit of a social media star for his cooking masterclasses. Yep, you heard that right. This kid is cooking on and off the track. And the other driver that had everyone talking, that would be Ella Lloyd. Now, she brings a completely different kind of story to the grid, one with a direct link to the absolute pinnacle of motorsport. And this just gives you an idea of the level we're dealing with. Being part of McLaren's official development program, that's a huge vote of confidence from one of the most iconic teams in F1 history. You add to that her experience as a frontrunner in F1 Academy, and you can see the kind of prestige and proven talent she brings to her road and motorsport team. So, you've got the teenage phenom on one side and the F1-backed star on the other. But as we all know, hype doesn't win you races. So how did they actually do when the lights went out? Let's get into their masterclass on track and see how they handled what was a truly chaotic weekend. For Bolofsky, the whole weekend turned into an absolute masterclass in overtaking. After a really tricky qualifying session that buried him way down in the mid-pack, he put on a clinic in the main race. He was just slicing and dicing his way through the field, gaining an incredible 12 positions to claw his way back into the top 10. But the absolute highlight of his drive, maybe of the entire weekend, happened at the old hairpin. Now, this corner is famous for punishing bravery. It's fast, it's unforgiving. And yet, Bolofsky made this stunning overtake stick all the way around the outside. It was just pure, audacious talent on full display for everyone to see. But Bolofsky wasn't the only one putting on a show. Ella Lloyd's weekend was a lesson in a totally different kind of skill, just pure, gritty resilience. She had her own challenges to deal with, and she responded with the kind of cool composure you'd expect from a veteran. After getting swallowed up in a chaotic opening lap mess, she somehow had to carve her way back through that 31-car traffic jam, and she did it brilliantly. She just managed her race, picked her moments perfectly, and brought home vital championship points. You know, the kind of points that can make all the difference when the season's over. So, with our two big stars busy fighting their way back through the pack, you're probably wondering, well, who actually ended up on the podium? Let's take a look at the drivers who got to take home the silverware in that wild first race. The top step belonged to Dries van Langendonk, who just put in a flawless lights-to-flag victory. He was the calm in the middle of the storm. Jarrett Clark came home in second, and he was an absolute master on the safety car restarts, holding everyone off behind him. And Lewis Farrell fought his way to a super gritty third place after a crazy four-way scrap. But, you know, just looking at the podium doesn't even begin to tell the full story of this weekend. The real takeaway from Donington is that we are in for a truly historic season, simply because every single inch of that racetrack was fought for. People in the paddock were calling it a Donnybrook, and honestly, that's the perfect word for it. With 31 cars on track, there was no quiet part of the circuit. The battle for 20th place was just as intense as the fight for the win. The racing was just unbelievably close everywhere you looked. And this quote that someone overheard in the paddock really just sums it all up. Every inch of tarmac was fought for. That's the level of competition these young drivers are up against. Nothing comes easy, and every single position has to be earned the hard way. So here's the bottom line. When you have a grid this packed and competition this fierce, you are looking at a genuine proving ground.